Hi, everyone. This is your host, Kristen Howe, and I am so excited to welcome you to our call with today's guest, Troika Saint Germain. Troika is a spiritual accelerator and Ascension alchemist who is able to advance people to their next level of spiritual development through her own frequency and powerful higher realm activations. Troika was born awake, and as a child visited the higher realms daily to communicate with angels and ascended masters. After a near-death experience at the age of 11, Troika lost her paranormal abilities and the memories of her higher realm experiences. She then had to learn how to wake up again, just as people are doing now. Troika did reawake in 1985 and achieved self-realization in 1992 and merged with her ascended master self in 2006. Her mission is to awaken individuals to their true, authentic nature, their divine self, while assisting them and planet Earth with ascension. Troika has helped thousands of people worldwide raise their frequency and vibration, live the life of their dreams, and become their divine self. And on today's call with Troika, you will discover that all of life is energy that vibrates at various frequencies. You'll discover how we can change our personal lives and planet Earth, and you'll discover why it is absolutely essential to raise your vibration and your frequency. So Troika, thank you so much for joining us today, and welcome to the call.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, and hello everybody that's listening.
I'm thrilled to be able to share you with everyone. This is an extraordinary group of people, and before I ask you about your story, which I do want to do, it's quite an extraordinary story. I know that you are, you really want us all to be in alignment. So could you go ahead and put us into alignment here on the call right now?
Oh, thank you. That would be perfect. Yes. What I like to do at the beginning of any type of group or class or activation is to have everybody take 3 breaths together in synchronization, breathing in through the nose, a slight pause, and then breathing out through the mouth. And what this does is it synchronizes all of ourselves into one body and puts us into alignment and harmony. And if everyone could set the intention as they are doing these breaths to, with each breath, become more and more relaxed and more heart-centered and more into the oneness of us all. Okay, so everyone breathe in and out and in and out and in and out. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so thrilled that we did that. I thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so now I get to ask you about your story. I'd love for you to share with us some of the major turning points, and you have such an interesting story. So for us to find out how you sort of went from being awake to, a near-death experience, just if you can share all of that so that now we understand how you've come to where you are, that would be great.
Okay. So a lot of times people ask me, what does it mean you were born awake? What does that mean? First of all children are born awake. And what I mean by the term awake is in conscious connection and communication with what's referred to as the other side, or heaven, or the higher realms, or God, or the universal intelligence, whatever vernacular someone likes to use, it's all the same. It's all divine source. So all children have that ability. They're fresh from the other side, and they still have that real strong connection and remembrance. It's as a child ages, and their third-dimensional parents who, were awake when they were born but became very third-dimensional, which happens to all of us on this planet, starts telling them things like, well, it's very nice that you have imaginary friends, but they're just imaginary, and it's just your imagination, and, and kind of poo-poos everything. And the child, wanting to conform and wanting to fit in, shuts down. The thing that was a little bit different about me is I didn't shut down. And there was something inside of me, I don't know what or why, that told me to keep my mouth shut and to never tell my parents what was going on and what I was doing. And so it prolonged for a very long time. You know, I will always tell someone when something that happened to me was an interdimensional experience or an actual physical experience with eyes open and total third dimensional type of awareness, so that, you know, so that we know what I'm really talking about. So with my eyes wide open, everyday existence, I had a bedroom that had a separate room for a closet. And it had a window in it and a bookcase and a cedar chest and my clothes and my toys. It was, you know, a fairly good-sized room. And I would, even before I went to school, but especially when I would come home from school, I would go into my closet, close the door, and masters would appear to me. They came in a small size. One came appearing as a pixie, and the other one as a pinto horse. And they would be little, you know, a couple of inches tall on the floor. I would be sitting on the floor with them, and they would come alive and grow in size to match my size at the time. And they would play with me, and we would play dominoes and pickup sticks and, you know, kid stuff. And they would also talk to me, and you know, and I never asked them their name. I never questioned them. I just knew that they were my friends and that they were more real to me than the rest of the world. So this went on, and I had all kinds of abilities. I could literally walk through a wall and go to the other side, and I could, with my mind or just taking my finger and pointing at one of my toys, I could make it move through the air, do all kinds of things. And these are abilities that technically we all have and can reawaken and bring them. I have not been able to walk through a wall yet, but I have had my car go through another car without anything happening. They kind of went in and out of each other to avoid an accident. So when I was 11, I was at Santa Monica Beach. We rented an apartment there every year, and I would go water rafting. This was before surfboards. And I had this big, huge rubberized raft, canvas raft, and I would go out, and I drowned. I drowned in the ocean. I knew I was going to drown, and I was fine with it. I said, okay, I'm going to die, and well, that's okay. And the next thing I knew, you know, I was being revived. I was flat on my back looking up, and there's all these lifeguards around me and these people. And I said, I never saw you coming. They said, well, we saw you. And I said, am I okay? And they said, it appears so. And I said, thank you. I got up and I grabbed my raft and went straight back in the water. When I got home, see, I didn't realize that things were different because I wasn't at home to go into my closet every day and meet with my friends. So when we got home from that, I went into my closet. I could not walk through the wall. My friends didn't show up, and I felt like my whole world was over. And I was very upset. And shortly after, I lost all memory of those experiences. I retained a little kernel in the back of my head that, you know, like when you're trying to remember somebody's name and you go, God, I know that person. What's their name? What's their name? And you're trying to go through your memory banks to get their name. It was that kind of feeling of, there was something I did when I was a kid. What was it? What was it? And I really couldn't remember. However, I did stay spiritually, metaphysically interested. And by the time I was 11 years old, I was studying astrology with a professional teacher and numerology and tarot, and that was sort of my vehicle in. And by the time I was in high school, I was hanging out with all the little gray-haired 90-year-old ladies at the Theosophical Society, with lineage of Madame Blavatsky. And so I stayed very, very interested in spirituality and trying to become more than I was. I knew that there was more. I knew that there was more to life, although I didn't know exactly what it was, and I was on a constant search. And then in 1985, I had a spontaneous reawakening, and I remembered my childhood, and I remembered everything that happened, and didn't quite have the abilities, but had the awareness. And then my search became even stronger and on a higher level. And it's just been an amazing life of transformation and mastery and overcoming situations and learning more and pushing myself to, expand my limits and to go further and further, and ultimately began teaching, and kind of where I'm at now.
See, and now we get to have you with us. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about energy, because I know this is, such an important thing, and we hear, all of us, we hear energy and frequencies and all of that stuff sort of thrown around in vibration. So I want to hear what you have to say about that. You say that all of life is energy that vibrates at different frequencies. Can you get into that a little bit more in detail?
Sure. It's when we look out at the world and we look at our bodies and we look at objects, tables, automobiles, buildings, trees, flowers, we are seeing what we think is real and what we think is solid. In the case of this desk I'm knocking on, we think that's solid. We think that our bodies are solid. That is an illusion. It is basically a hologram. We are living in a hologram. And everything that we see and are and feel is rapidly moving energy. And when energy, the way a frequency or vibration is, they're really the same, is the more faster a molecule, or which is a unit of energy, moves, we call that a higher frequency, because it's moving faster. It's a higher rate of vibration. And then we have the lower moving vibration, and that is dense. It's slow. The table, because it is so solid in appearance, is a lower, denser frequency. It's moving at a slower rate, so it seems solid. The air that we see and breathe, we don't see the air, but yet it's there. That is a pure higher frequency and vibration. It is moving so fast that it doesn't have time to become solid, or we don't perceive it as solid. Water's kind of in the middle. Water's a very interesting substance. It can be solid when it's frozen, like ice. It can be a liquid, which is halfway between the dimensions, halfway between solid and not. And it can be steam, which is then like the air. So water is a good example of how frequency and vibration can change. And it's a good example for us because our bodies are anywhere from 80 to 90% water. So this shows us that we can become very solid, very stuck, very rigid, or we can be very fluid and go with the flow. All these terms that we use are accurate analogies of what's really going on. Or we can really raise our vibration and frequency and become like the steam or like the air. Now, why do we want to do that?
Hey, see, it's like you took the question out of my mouth.
Well, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing people are probably going, what do I want to be steam for?
Right? That's nice. Why do I want to be steam? Yes. So why do I want to be steam?
Okay. So like the solidity or liquidity or vaporous nature of energy, each energy or each level of vibration has a matching of resonance with other things. We've heard about the law of attraction. The law of attraction means more than just wishing that you had money and money coming to you. The law of attraction really means that what you are, who you are, how you are, is what you attract to yourself. So if you want different things in life, if you want a better life, if you want a happier life, a more conscious life, a more magical, mystical life, you have to change yourself to match that, to draw that to you, to attract that. Like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. All these expressions I hated when I was a kid, but boy, they're so true. And so as we change our vibration and our frequency and become what we would call lighter or a more rapidly moving frequency, we attract higher dimensional, lighter, better conditions in our lives until we eventually become what is called an ascended being or a divine being. You know, Christ, we call him Jesus Christ, but it's really Jesus the Christ, because Christ is a vibration. It's a frequency. It's a level of frequency. And when a being like Jesus and millions of others that we're not even aware of reach that state of consciousness or that vibration of the Christ consciousness, you become a Christed being. And you can do all of the things that Jesus did, including walking on water and walking through walls and healing the sick and raising the dead and creating, you know, a magical life for yourself. There are millions and millions of people that have done that. He's the most famous because, you know, there was that book written about him. But there's many ascended beings, and that's what those two beings were in my closet. They were ascended beings that had reached that state of frequency. And people talk about the ascension. They want to do the ascension. And a lot of people aren't really sure of what they're talking about, what that really means. And the word ascension has many multiple meanings to it. The base meaning of it is to rise above, to ascend. You can ascend a quarter of an inch, and that's ascension. You can keep ascending, and that's what we do really in our lives when we're growing. We are continually ascending. Every time you have an aha moment or you have a change in habit that improves your life, you give up smoking or something like that, you are ascending yourself bit by bit, step by step. Then there's the ultimate ascension, which means becoming this Christed being, becoming this ascended being. And when you do that, your body literally changes itself into what we would call that steam or that vapor thing. These beings walk among us. They are here with us. We just don't see them because their body has become so refined and vibrating so much higher that our eyes cannot see them. They're like the air. So I didn't expect this call to become quite this advanced, but obviously your listeners are ready for it, or I wouldn't.
They are. This is a group that is definitely ready for this. So I'm really thrilled that it's gone this direction. So as we're talking about all of this, it's easy to look at this and go, yes, that I feel how that resonates within me and all. And yet here we are, and we are in a physical world. So how do we tie the two together? You know, is it essential to raise our vibration and frequency for not just the internal manifestation of joy and happiness and freedom and peace, but also for the external manifestations that we're looking for?
Like I said, each level or each step of, I call them bands of frequency. And just for the example of conversation, I'm going to say a frequency from 0 to 100, which is not accurate at all. So don't get tied up on the numbers. It's just a point of reference. say something or someone is vibrating in that very low speed. All of the things that go along with that are very low, undesirable conditions of life. There's a lot of disease that's, hangs out in that range. There's poverty, there's violence, there's abuse, there's depression, there's suicide. It's a really dark kind of place. You might call it hell, living in hell, living in those type of conditions. And when you raise your vibration and frequency up to the next step, say, and we'll call that from 100 to 200, you lift yourself out of some of that darkness and go into a slightly better world of conditions. Because, like the law of attraction, everything has a vibration or a frequency to it. And all of the lower emotions and feelings and conditions, hang out in those different bands. So as you keep raising yourself, you keep going into a better state of being. This happens, there's probably nobody on the planet right now that's vibrating that low, but this is done through reincarnation and through lifetime after lifetime. And if you, look at the history of the earth as we know it, back in the dark ages, it was a pretty bad existence. People were vibrating at a very low thing. Now, through reincarnation and lifetime after lifetime of working on yourself, people come into this lifetime now at a pretty decent state, but there's still more. When people have, say for instance, if someone has cancer, we all know good people that have cancer or get cancer. And cancer has a certain frequency. And if someone has a frequency that matches that, because we're a complex component of frequencies, we can have our consciousness can be on one frequency, and our physical body could be on another one. And we have various emotions that range in different frequencies. So if you have an emotional state or a mental state or a physical state that matches within that band of frequency that cancer resides in, you are very likely to attract it to you. We all know of people that have had spontaneous remission, where, boom, they change their lifestyle, they eat a different diet, they start meditation or whatever, and boom, all of a sudden the doctors are amazed. They have no cancer in their body, as if they never had it. That's because they raised that part of themselves that had a match for cancer. They raised that part of themselves out of that band of frequency, and cancer can no longer reside anywhere in them or near them because it no longer is a resonant match. These things do not travel with us and expand their consciousness and their frequency.
Right.
We just step out of them. We rise above them. So there's many reasons why, even if people are not ready to become a Christed being and ascend, because it's really a big commitment. Not too many people really want to do it. I vacillate back and forth whether I want to do it or not, but whether you do or not, just living on this earth in a physical body, it behooves everyone to raise their vibration and frequency so that they have a better life. And when you get into a band of frequency that no longer has little, I'm going to use a real technical term here, little gookies to you, then you truly are master of your life and your universe. You call the shots. The world is your oyster, and all of life is at your command.
So when we're talking about manifesting, it's essential for our inner state of being, our emotions, our joy, our fulfillment, our love of ourselves and of others, to raise our vibration and frequency, but also for what shows up in our outer world, abundance, prosperity, love, health, to also, it is essential to raise our vibration and frequency. Is that correct? Am I getting you?
Absolutely, 100% correct.
Awesome. Now, here's my next question. When we do that, when we are very aware of raising our vibrational frequency, and of course, in a second, I'm going to ask you how we can start to do this. But when we do this, does it change just our lives, or does it, I know I'm like leading the witness right now, but, or
does
it
change people around you?
Yeah, exactly.
It does, because we're all connected. We are all connected to everyone that we know and everybody that we don't know. It's part of being in that pool of vibration and frequency. Remember, we're all energy. Nobody is a body. We just have this illusion that we have a separate body and that our skin stops where we are. We expand way beyond our body. Every time you're standing in a line at the supermarket, your body's mixed in with other people's bodies, even though your skin isn't touching. We all overlap. We're all one body of energy. So when one part of the mix, changes, it touches everything. It touches, all of us. Now, there's a sphere of influence. I mean, me changing my life isn't helping somebody in Afghanistan real directly, but as more and more of us do, our emanation reaches out to where it does touch that. And of course, somebody in Afghanistan is, there's spiritual people and light workers all over the world. There are high beings that are living in what we would call really dark spots of the world, and they are shedding their light there and encouraging people around them to wake up and to shed their light. And getting back to, does it affect people around you? Yes, it does, if that other person's free will is in agreement. There's many times when a person will really raise themselves and change their life, and what it means is someone in their life leaves them because they no longer are a match. It's like that cancer. Then there's many times, and I'm talking about like a relationship, then there's many times where the other person wants to raise themselves too, and the two raise themselves together. So they definitely get affected that way, but not everyone's free will wants to. We all have free will, and we have to respect other people's free will, and we have to allow them their process and allow them their desires. Some people actually enjoy being a really obnoxious person. We have to allow them to be that way until they get to the point where they decide on their own that they wish to change.
Right.
So everyone's kind of on a different level and on a different journey, and we have to respect everyone's journey. All we can truly do is change ourselves. And as we change ourselves, our environment changes. That may mean new people coming in your life and other people leaving, but your environment definitely will change. Our environment, what we see out there in the world, how people treat us, what happens in our daily life, the flow that we're in and all, is a reflection of who we are. When we change our life, the whole reflection changes to show the new life. And this is one way that we can measure where we're at and what we need to improve, and then make those improvements and see the changes in our reflection.
I love that. Okay, so now we're getting the feeling around what vibration is and frequency is and all of that. And is there something that you can tell us to do? Like, I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that call with Troika really resonated with me. So I want to start my day with the intention of raising my vibration. Is there something that we can do, like upon waking, that will help us with that?
Yes, upon waking and upon going to bed.
Okay.
If people will just learn about the violet flame and learn how to use it and call upon it, and it only takes a nanosecond to do it. So the violet flame and all of these flames, I want people to understand, because there have been other people that created cults or religions or, lots of rules and regulations and give me 10% of your money for the rest of your life and that kind of stuff based on the knowledge of the violet flame. Mm-hmm. None of that has anything to do with the violet flame.
Okay.
The violet flame is available to everybody and anybody, regardless of race, color, creed, age, weight, height, religion, financial standing. It's just there for everybody, and you don't even have to believe in it for it to work. And you certainly don't have to create a whole religion and belief system for it to work. It is as simple as a hammer. It is a tool just like a hammer or a screwdriver. Does the hammer care who you are when you use it? No. You pick the hammer up, you hold the nail on the wall, you bang the nail with the hammer, and boom, the hammer works for you. The violet flame is exactly the same way. And I really try very hard to demystify it and to unreligion it so that more people will use it because it is a wonderful benefit. And again, like frequency, everything has a vibration and a frequency. When we see color, color is how we see energy. And each color that we see has a certain attribute to it. You know, when you take sunlight or pure light and put it through the prism or through a crystal, you get a rainbow. The rainbow are 7 different aspects of that pure light. Easier way of understanding what pure light is, and pure light we could use as an analogy for God or for the totality or for the all that is. So when we see these colors, they're different aspects of God, and they have different qualities to them. And when you utilize working with color on yourself, you are working with pure energy. You are working with the purest form, and the same with sound. Sound is vibration or energy made audible. Color is vibration or energy made visible. You don't have, when you work with color and sound, you're working with the purest form of energy. There's no misinterpretation possible. There's not, am I understanding this right? Well, what did they really mean by that? Or somebody's version of what it means. You know, when we're dealing with a religion or a philosophy or some sort of big ritual, we're dealing with something that came through a human being's consciousness. And depending on the consciousness and the level of understanding of that human being will color or filter or change the truth and the pure energy. So why not work with the purest form of energy there is, which is color and sound? That is the fastest and the best way to change yourself and to change, and raise your vibration and frequency. The color, the pure color that we see is the energy and the emanation of that aspect of God. It's like a softer version of it, like a blanket that envelops you. Each color has a flame, and the flame is action. It does something. So if you really want to utilize the color in the strongest form, you would call the flame of that color into you to, kind of get things moving and get things, changed. And then you can bathe yourself in the blanket part of the color. So the violet flame, its purpose is that of transmutation. And it's the ultimate alchemy. We've all heard about the ancient alchemists that could turn lead into gold. Well, the violet flame is the ultimate spiritual alchemy. It turns lower, denser energy into higher frequency and energy. its immediate purpose is to change those things in us that we want to change into a higher form, to eradicate the cancer into perfect health, to eradicate, anger into peace and harmony, to change depression into self-confidence and self-love. It does anything we ask it to, just like the hammer does anything we ask it to. And its ultimate purpose is to turn the human into the divine, to the divine being. We all have that ability to be a divine being. And you can use the violet flame for any step along the way. So in answer to your question, what can I do when I get up in the morning? You simply call the violet flame into you. There's a few steps to utilizing the violet flame. Once you understand those steps, and they're very easy, then whatever you say, as long as you're incorporating those steps, is fine. And it's actually meant to be your own words at the moment. How you feel at the moment, just speak from your heart. Sometimes we're very flowery and we want to, talk in great gratitude and love and this and that. And other times it's just, would you change this now, please? Crazy, Whatever you're feeling and whatever you say is appropriate because you're being authentic. You're being who you are at the time. So the steps for the violet flame, you can just imagine a fire. It's just like our fire, only instead of yellow and orange, it's lavender and violet and purple and a little bit of hot pink in the center. And you just imagine this violet flame over your head. You can ask it to come to you and then have it come into your body and fill your body totally and completely so that every cell in your body is contained within this flame and it does not burn. And then you expand it out your body to incorporate your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies, or what we call the aura. So at this point, you're standing in the middle of this big, huge violet flame, and you're in it and out, it's in you and around you at the same time. Then you just ask, violet flame, please transmute, blah, 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 and into, because alchemy is a two-step process. You turn something into something else. You say, transmute blah, 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 blah into blah, 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 blah. And when you're aware of the colors, you can turn that energy into a color of preference. And then you have that color come and bathe you and wrap around you. If you don't know the colors and what they mean, that's perfectly fine. Just talk about the qualities. Take this, please transmute my anger, turn it into peace and harmony. Please transmute, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's the fire is an intelligent consciousness, and it pretty much knows what you want to do, even if your words aren't as exact. And that's all you have to do, and it just can take less than a minute to do it. And The more you use the violet flame, the more you're transmuting that heavier stuff into the lighter stuff. It will transform your life and your energy faster than anything else. So that's one really great thing to do.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so do we have time to do a quick little color process with everybody?
I will make the time, of course. I think people would love that. So, yes, that would be great.
Okay. So without people knowing what the colors mean, let's just do a little experiment. We'll call this an experiment.
Okay.
It's just a way of feeling. So everyone close. If you're driving in your car, don't. Well, I don't think people are driving while they're listening to this, are they? I don't know. If you're driving in your car, of course, do not do this. But if you're in a place where you can be a little quiet and close your eyes for a moment, let's go ahead and do that. Everyone close your eyes. And let's take those 3 deep breaths in again. And with these breaths, just center yourself. Feel yourself going deep into your core, deep into your heart area, and becoming very, very inward. You want to feel how you feel inside rather than what is around you. So let's breathe in and out, and in and out, and in and out. So now just take note of how you feel, how your energy feels. Get a sense of yourself right now. And then ask for a soft, gentle blue, like a sky blue, to just come and bathe yourself. Just wrap this blue energy all around yourself and feel it coming into your body. You don't have to know anything about this blue. Just call it to yourself. And now, feel how you feel with this light blue energy all around you. You should feel a subtle change. When you're working with these energies, it's not dramatic. It's not like a 2x4 hitting you in the head. It's subtle. Just feel any type of change. And just take note of that. And now we're going to ask the blue to leave us, to go back into space. And now ask for a soft, pale pink, the color of a beautiful pink rose, or rose quartz, or that type of a pink. Ask for that pink now to come and fill you, surround you. See what that feels like. A little different than the blue. Make note of how that feels. And now we'll ask the pink to leave us. Go back to a neutral palette. And let's do something a little more dramatic this time. Let's call in a very vibrant, bright lemon yellow. Really strong yellow. Ask that yellow to come over you, through you, all around you, surrounding yourself. Your aura should look like a big, huge lemon right now. Bright lemon. See how that feels. The lemon to leave us now, bright yellow. I'm going to do one more color. We're going to call in one more color, and this color we're going to retain. Just call in metallic gold, just like 24 karat gold in a sparkling light, soft, metallic gold energy, gold dust. Ask that gold dust come into you, around you, filling and surrounding you. Beautiful, metallic gold energy. going to ask the gold to stay with us. So that's a tiny little exercise to get used to feeling colors and feeling the energy and learning about how they react. The two beginning ones, the pale blue and the pale pink, they were, pastel, so that energy is very soft and very gentle. And that powder blue is calming and cooling and very peaceful. And the pale pink is the color of unconditional love, very soft and very nurturing and very loving. The bright yellow, color of sunlight and vitality and a good kind of excitement, a liveliness, a brightness, a vitality. Now, it's an energizing color. It also is a color that helps you to study and to retain things. And then the metallic gold that we use is the color and vibration of the Christ consciousness energy. So when you work with that metallic gold energy, you are Christing yourself. You are raising your frequency and vibration and adding that layer of the Christed energy. And this is the energy or the state of being that all life is in the process of becoming. This is what this new age, what the golden age is all about, is all of us raising our frequency to a Christed level, to that Christ consciousness frequency. And so the more we bring that into ourselves, we're helping ourselves get there faster and sooner. I'm done.
Wow. That was an awesome, I just loved that experiment, as you said, we're calling it. So thank you so much for sharing it, because you really feel the differences. Actually, and I'll be the first to say, I was completely surprised that I was feeling those differences. So that's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. So when you work with the divine energies and the divine colors, of which we just did a few of them, you're working with that pure energy. You didn't have to know anything. You didn't have to change your lifestyle. You didn't have to wear certain clothes and go to a church or, do anything. It's free. We can call any of these colors in.
So with working with these energies, because this is really what you teach, and this is really what you work with people on, which I think is just amazing. And I can completely see how working with these energies and raising our vibration and raising our frequency would, affect absolutely everything from our internal self to our external lives.
It does. Every aspect of life that you can imagine is
and that's so exciting. So what I'd love, do you have any, it's such a cool thing for us to see what's possible. Do you have any favorite sorts of transformations that you hear about that make you go, yes, this is why I'm doing this. This is, why I'm so excited about sharing this with people. Can you share with us a couple of different kinds of transformations that people experience?
Well, yes. What my mission and my goal and my desire is to teach people how to do this themselves, how to be their own master and not be dependent on, going to a channel somewhere or going to a psychic or, being part of a religion or something. But, for people to be able to realize their own master within and to bring out that mastery, because we all are masters. And when you get the answers yourself from your higher source, you know that they're true and you know that it's the exact thing. And you're not dealing with, the filter of another human. And I see this, often when I work with people one-on-one or when they come to events that I have. I've seen so many people transform from night and day, and that's why I do this. Even if I if I can only affect one person at a time, that person then goes on to affect other people, and and those people affect other people. And I don't know, there's just been so many times when I've seen people come out of their shell. People all have their own stopping point. Some people it's fear. Some people it's a shyness or an insecurity that they think, oh, well, who am I? I really want to open my own business, but who am I to do that? I'm not good enough, and they have self-doubt. This kind of work just breaks that wide open, and this little shy person will just burst into a sun and start their own business and start thriving. I've seen people relationships with their husband and or wife totally transform. I remember, in fact, she's one of my best friends now. She came to the event I did in 2010, and then she came back for the one in 2011. And at that one, she told me, she goes, I just can't take my marriage anymore. I have to file for divorce, and it's just really breaking my heart, but I just can't live this way anymore. And I said, before you do that, why don't you try working with the violet flame, on your relationship and this and that. And I told her a specific way to work with another person. And she goes, okay, I'll try it. And the very next event I had, which was only 5 months later, not only did she come back, but her husband came with her. Their whole relationship is totally transformed, and now he's on the spiritual path with her. And and they were on the verge of divorce. So there's just all kinds of transformations that I see. People changing jobs, people starting their own careers, people becoming teachers, spiritual teachers, people's habits. I've had a lot of people come to me with habits that they wanted to get rid of, like smoking or overeating or medications that they wanted to get off of and stuff. And you can do that easily, more easily, with this type of work. Well, just recently, I met this really beautiful young woman, 19 years old. She has such an incredible light in her, and I could just see that she was here to really put her mark on the world and to really change it. And I've got goosebumps just all over me thinking about her. And she's a wonderful entertainer. And I met her. She came to my event in August, spent 5 days with me. And that was just, 4 weeks ago. And she sent me an email that, she lives in Florida. She sent me an email that said she has her first singing engagement on Broadway. And, her energy and her light is just going to touch every single person that she encounters. And so she's on her way. I predict that she will be a very famous, very common name. Everyone in the world will know her type of entertainer. So think of all the people that she'll affect. But you don't have to be an entertainer. We all have a sphere of influence that we don't even realize. Just back to that supermarket, back to the post office, standing in line at the bank, just going on with our daily life, walking through the mall. When your light is really engaged and you're really shining who you are and that divine energy, it affects every person you walk past, whether you know that person or not. You don't have to do a thing. Just be. Just be the light that you are.
I love that. And I love that you're helping people remove limitations, because limitations are very personal. So whatever their personal limitations are, and helping them be the light that they are. I think that's so fantastic. And that's why I wanted to bring you on today, because that's what I get excited about. You're really helping empower people. And that's why I asked you to create a special offer, which you did, you can simply click on the special offer button that is on this page, and it will take you right there. So, Troika, let us know what we'll find there.
Okay. I love that. Live big. You know, they say live big or go home.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so the very first one I have, and so this one is one that's been around a while, but it's really an important one, and I know that new people come onto these telesummits all the time. So it's a clearing with Archangel Michael, and it's very important that we all keep ourselves clear from what I call the things that go bump in the night, you know, negative thought forms and energies that are of a low vibration, you know, disincarnated beings and stuff. Everybody is attracted to the light. It's like the moth to the flame, especially those of us that are working on producing more and more light and being more of that divine being that we know we are. You know, things are attracted to us. So Archangel Michael is the guy to call to clear you and to help you. And this is a great clearing invocation for him. Then the second thing I have is all about the violet flame. We touched a little bit on that, but this goes into more depth and has a suggested invocation. And then there's also just the invocation. It's a short little thing that can help you use it every day, and you don't have to listen to all the blah, 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 blah to get to it. Then there's the violet flame for relationships. Because everyone has free will, you have to work with it a little bit differently when there's other people involved. And a relationship is anybody, anything that's other than yourself. You can use it on your pets. Relationship, you know, so situations at work, your friends, your family, your husband, your wife. It doesn't have to be a romantic thing. I've had people use it very successfully when they've had a lawsuit. So this is really invaluable. Then there's how to use the violet flame for abundance. And, you know, abundance is more than just money. Abundance actually is a frequency and a vibration. And when you're in that flow of abundance, all good things come to you. You know, your life flows into one of prosperity. When you need something, it's there. And when you use the violet flame to open up and get into that flow of abundance and frequency, your life totally changes, not just financially, but in all good things coming to you when you need them. So that is very, very valuable. Then we have the activations. We have 3 really incredible activations. The first one, it takes about an hour and a half. And so I suggest that you do this one when you're quiet and alone and can be undisturbed for that amount of time. Definitely do not do it while you're driving. And this is to activate and transform all of your chakras. You know, we've all heard about clearing our chakras. We've probably done some modalities that do that. This is beyond that. First, we clear the chakras, but then you're going to transform them into their higher function, into their divine function. We are multi-leveled individuals. We've been dealing with our chakras primarily on the 3rd dimensional aspect of ourselves. This will open up the pathway and expand your chakras into the frequency of the 5th dimension. So it's kind of major and it's fun and you'll like it. Then we have a DNA and pineal gland activation. And your pineal gland is your master gland. It's the gland that tells the rest of your body what to do and how to do it and when to do it. So when you activate the pineal gland, and, well, even just balancing the pineal gland, it will balance all of your other glands and chakras along with it, just automatically. But when you activate it through this activation, it will go into its higher purpose. It will become the instrument that tells all of your DNA to start transforming into the divine DNA. It will add those extra strands. it will activate your DNA to turn into divine DNA. In addition, it starts telling your body to start the process of turning into light, turning into a lighter vehicle. Right now, we are a carbon-based body. We are transforming into a crystalline-based body. It's part of the whole ascension that is happening to the planet and everybody. So this will activate that crystalline process and make it easier and more graceful for you to go through. Then we have to become your higher self. You know, we've all kind of know that we have a higher self, which is different than a guardian angel, by the way. Your higher self is the higher aspect of you. Again, we're multidimensional beings, and that higher self is kind of the next step of growth and expansion. And so with this activation, you will learn to meet with your higher self and bring your higher self into your physical body so that you become your higher self here on Earth. And then I offer 3 Ascension flame transmissions. And this is Saint Germain and I get together and we broadcast this energy, this frequency of the Ascension flames. It's different than the violet flame. It's the energy of Ascension itself. And this is transmitted to you, you know, no matter where you are. You don't have to be aware of it. You don't have to be tuned in or make a phone call or whatever. It's just transmitted to you. And this is giving you and your higher self this frequency energy for you to utilize it in the best way for you at that time. We do that 3 times, usually a week apart. And then I have 2 live Q&A calls just for this group where you can call and talk to me in the same way that this show is run. And I'll answer your questions, and we'll have a great time. And I usually end up doing some sort of activation during them. And if you're unable to attend the show live, or if it's after they've been done, there will be replays that you can download and listen to that. And then the last thing, you know, I make all these incredible products that help with raising your vibration and your frequency. So that's about it.
Wow, that's about it. That's a lot. Okay, so when people start using this, what are, you know, just quickly, what are some of the things that they could expect to start experiencing, you know, right away?
Well, using the clearing with Archangel Michael, you will feel so much lighter and so much better just immediately, because all those things that are attached to you that you're not even aware of are going to be gone. You know,
Wow.
your energy will be totally your own. Plus, in this invocation, activation with Michael, he will assign to you 2 what I call centurion angels. They're the big, huge, can I say kick-ass?
You can.
They're the big kick-ass warrior angels that will flank you and protect you. So you get these 2 bodyguard angels forever. They're in addition to the angels that you already have around you. So that is an amazing thing. People always feel a difference when they do that. Then the violet flame, you know, the more you use it, and depending on what you ask for transmutation, can be very effective and very immediate, you know. And if you really want to test out the violet flame, instead of putting a whole big shopping list of I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, you know, just maybe work on one issue at a time so that you can see the changes. Sometimes if we're asking for too much, we're not aware of how things are happening. So that can be very immediate. All of these things, you're going to feel something when you do them. And I do not suggest that everybody do all the downloads on the same day.
Okay.
A little too much, you know. I would suggest people do the Michael one immediately.
Great.
And, of course, you can work with the Violet Flame in conjunction. You can do those two immediately. I would then wait a few days to integrate what's happened, and then do, some of the other ones. Maybe one a week or something, so that you really integrate and really assimilate the experience. And then after you've done them all, then you can go back and you can do them over and over again if you want, and you'll get deeper and, more results in a deeper way each time you redo them.
I love that. It's fantastic, and I love, by the way, that you with the Archangel Michael, that's going to give us a chance, and that I have used something like that before. So yes, to instantly feel better, because we do free ourselves of all these things that are negatively pulling at us. Just click on that special offer button that's on this page, and you will be taken right there. Troika, you've been absolutely fantastic. I love your energy. I love your willingness to, take us through that color experiment and really share everything that you share with us. Already we can use it to move to the next level, raise our vibration. And I really, really appreciate that. Do you have anything you want to share with us before we say goodbye today?
Well, first of all, I want to say that it is totally my pleasure and my honor to share anything and everything that I know with your audience and with, all life on this planet. Because, that is my desire, that all of us become totally free and divine. We're divine already, let's get into being divine, So thank you. And thank everyone that is listening for listening. But use the violet flame. I've told you enough about the violet flame for you to utilize that. And you can, in your meditations, bring in the colors, experiment, play with the different colors. Just bring in the really pure form of color, and see how they feel to you. And my closing words are, I really want everybody to know, not just mentally, not just the words, but to know deep in your soul, deep in your heart, deep in your body, that you are a divine being. You are not this little human that you think you are. You are so much more than that. All of us are. We step down our energy to come and play the earth game and to be on earth. We're merely playing a role. This is not who we really are. We're playing a part in a play. And that's who we think we are. We think we're our part, but we're not. We are divine beings from the heart of God. And we can be that way here on earth. We can expand our life and our essence back into that divine being while we're still here on earth. And just imagine what your life would be like and what the world would be like if we all stepped out of our roles and lived life as the divine beings that we are.
I love that. What a perfect thing to end with. You are all absolutely miraculous, and I'm thrilled to be able to spend this time with you. And Troika, thank you so much. I look forward to when we get to do this again sometime.
Thank you, Kristen.
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everyone. Until the next time, keep manifesting.
Mm.